when it comes to the Mandela effect, I'm hearing a whole bunch of different things. Like they're saying, "Oh, it's your false memory." Now, false memory is true. Like if I, example, had a girlfriend that lived on a street 20 years ago, and I visited her 2 times, right? So then I would try to remember the street, and I'm sure of it, and then it turns out I'm off maybe by a few letters. But not when it's something that's consistent in your life, that's constantly in your life. Like an example would be cap in crunch. It was never a cap in crunch. It was always Captain Crunch. And I'm like, I can't believe this. I'm watching this old cartoon on Captain Crunch. And I remember staring at the box when I was a kid. It was the long name Captain. It wasn't Cap in. And here's the thing. I'm watching this old commercial, and it's the exact commercial. I haven't seen this commercial in like 40 years. It's where he's in the sea, and he throws out all this Captain Crunch to like a whale. Anyways, it's the same commercial, but it's Cap in Crunch. It's different. And the point is that certain things we see over and over and over, we're going to remember it clearly. And Cap and Crunch doesn't make no sense. And now, it isn't that the time has changed. No one's going back in time changing anything, because that would just cause a new reality to exist from that point on. So they're actually not going back in time, because you wouldn't be on that timeline anyways. Because you would remember things the way they always were. You wouldn't know a difference. So what's really going on is we, a bunch of us, and I think it's because of Cern, we parallel shifted. And it's not like you physically, like your skin and body jumped to a parallel universe. That's not how it works. You're the only thing that's moved in string theory is the innermost part of the being. The part which is inside the atom, inside the dwarfs, the smallest molecule. And that's where they're looking for the God particle. That smallest essence is what moved. The soul, they would call it. Your consciousness. That's the only thing that moved. Everything else is left behind. And I got a scar on my elbow that's been there all my life. It's gone. Another thing to prove it is if you watch the videos on YouTube, they have all the different comparisons. They're saying even the bone structure changed. They have a video where the guy shows the rib cage has completely changed, and the eye sockets in back of our eyeballs, there's no skeleton. Now there's a skeleton behind the eyeballs. Now, where I come from, there was no skeleton behind the eyeballs. That was common sense. Sorry, common knowledge. Not common sense, common knowledge. There's no bone behind the eyeball. So like I didn't know that before. I was saying earlier today in a video that it's your essence that moved. And then I found that video, and it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. It's not your body that has moved. You're actually in a body of yourself, but in a parallel universe. And it's really weird because here I am inside my studio apartment. I've been living here for 27 years, but I'm really not inside my studio apartment. I'm inside the person that's me in a parallel universe. I'm inside his apartment. And it's really freaky when you think of it that way. Like in a way, we're almost like stealing their stuff because we're like inside of a place that really isn't ours. I'm talking physically, it's gone. Our stuff, your body, your home, everything is not here. It's a replica. And like if you own a house, you're actually not the owner of that house. You're actually an imposter, believe it or not. And you can go online and look at how the skeleton has even changed. The bones. If you're from the place I'm from, where President Kennedy was assassinated, and there's 4 people inside the car, that's where I'm from. I talked to a guy today, and he said there was 5 people, and some people remember 6. And the video shows 6. So whoever remembers 6 is from this physical place right here. If you remember 4, you're not from this physical place. So you transferred over, but your body's been left behind. And you're in a different body altogether because even the skeleton has even changed. Which is freaky. We don't even know how many changes that we're not even noticing. There could be changes in our past, not our past, but the person that was occupying this body before. There could be changes in the past that we're not aware of. And there's a lot of there's a lot of things that are exactly the same. I was watching the Voltron cartoon. I haven't seen this cartoon since 1984, and it's exactly the same. I used to watch that daily. It's exactly the same. Same voices, same everything. Even the voices are exactly the same pitch. So a lot of things are exactly the same, and then there's a lot of things that are different. Like Marilyn Monroe, she's skinnier. Someone made a remark, no, she's fatter, she's chubbier. If you go watch Some Like It Hot, and I went over there and watched it, and she's still skinnier in Some Like It Hot. Her face is still skinnier. She has like lines in her face, and her beauty mark on her lip changed. It used to be on her lip, now it's up on her cheek. She's skinnier. She's different. And I'm watching all these different videos of her, and she actually, I never thought she was pretty. She looks really good now. Not that, some women look better heavy and some women look better thinner, but she looks better thinner. She looks younger because she's thinner. But there's a lot of videos like that are like, wow, where a beauty mark moved. And like I Love Lucy, where Desi Arnaz says, you got some explaining to do. I mean, that's just like, that was like, they made jokes about that on like Mad TV. Does Mad TV even exist here? And then how about, what's the other one? In Living Color. And then The Honeymooners, Boom Zoom to the Moon. That was like, everyone knew that one. So there's like a lot of things, and they're saying, oh, it's your memory. It's not your memory. And then like Cracker Jacks, a lot of stuff too went from plural to singular. I noticed that. Plural to singular. There's a lot of plural stuff that went to singular now. Singular. A lot of stuff has changed. And I understand string theory is that the more the changes, the further away from your parallel universe, the further away from your universe you are. So if there's a slight change, they say that you're billions of light years away from your universe. If there's a bigger change, you're further away. We're physically, our Earth, if you're from the Earth where there's 4 people in the Kennedy car, our Earth is like billions and billions and billions and billions of light years away across space. We traveled far, real far. Now it's the people at Cern, and their logo is 666, so it shouldn't surprise you that something is going to come out of it. Hopefully it's something good, but not because they're good, but because hopefully we're not going to get cursed. But at the same time, this can be a shift, which means we might not be completely where we're going yet. We might still be shifting. There can still be movements. If they're messing around at CERN, anywhere they mess around with it, they're going to be pushing stuff around. If they're messing around with CERN, even in a parallel universe, and they start pushing those people, they're going to push us, and we're going to move again. So the question is, are we going to move somewhere good or somewhere bad? How would you like to wake up and then you find out like Hitler won the war, or you got no legs? I mean, there could be all kinds of scenarios. Anyways, we're in this place, and I know for a fact that we have parallel shifted. There's no one going back and changing the time zone. That's impossible to do. You can go back and change. You can go back in time, they said, and change the time. But if they're able to do that, all it does is create a new timeline. So the people in that timeline wouldn't even know the difference. Because you have a memory of a different past, you're not in a place where they changed it. Because that time exists. The memories you have exist. That timeline is still there. So you're not on that timeline no more. You're on a different timeline. Which means you did not go through a different timeline. You went through a parallel dimension. And if you're here and you have a different memory, like Kennedy's assassination with 4 people, and you're married to somebody, you're not really even their real husband or their real wife. Because the person that was here before has moved somewhere else, and you're now occupying their body. I mean, but don't freak out. That's still them. That's still your husband and your wife in a parallel universe. They're still connected by the membrane. There's like a big membrane that connects everything together. So there's infinite amounts of you that's in all these parallel universes, and you're connected by the membrane to yourself. Yet, in a sense, it's not you in a parallel universe. Like, even here, our bone structure changed. Yeah, we're connected to the other bone structure by the membrane, but the bone structure changed. That is a little freaky. I mean, some of the things are freaky. Like 911, where I come from, the Pentagon. No one died at the Pentagon. They were remodeling the Pentagon, and we were so happy that there was no one there. And they thought it was a drone that hit it because there was no footage. They had like all the cameras off that day, and they said the cameras are always on. And people were pissed off. But there was no deaths. There was the buildings that went down, 3,000 people, no deaths at the Pentagon, and then there was like a plane that went down in the middle of nowhere. That's reality. That's what I remember. And now there's a memorial for the Pentagon for 100 people that died. That's scary. The bone structure changed. And the bone structure changing is really concerning, because not only are we talking about popular culture, we're talking about the human body. We're in a body now has different, anatomy? And we're in a body that has a different anatomy. And it's not noticeable. It's your rib cage and your eye sockets. There's bone behind your eyes. But that's the equivalent of having like an extra finger. It's just not noticeable by the eye, so we're not panicking about it. But if you were to look down and see like 6 toes on both feet, you'd be aware of it. You'd be freaking out. But you have a different rib structure now. And you have bone behind your eyes. Check this out. Well, on YouTube, there's a video. I should have probably got the name, but that was like earlier this morning. And there's a lot more than that. I mean, you got people that are dead now. You got the bone structure that changed. Marilyn Monroe has a beauty mark that's on a different part of her face. That's a different body right there. And then what else did we not notice yet? What else is going to shock us tomorrow? And if we're shifting still, what more surprises are going to come our way? And I think there's 3 different places. One guy remembers 5 people inside the Kennedy car during the assassination. 5 people. He's sure of it. So we might shift somewhere worse, somewhere better. And it's all because of the Cern. I'm telling you, it's all because of Cern. Because they're messing with stuff they shouldn't be messing with. And when they start messing with dimensions, it opens up a doorway to everything. Everything in the universe got shifted, I'm sure of it. And then if it got shifted, then we went into another space, and then that space got shifted, and they went into another space, and that shift, it's like a domino effect. You know, where you stand the dominoes up along, you know, and then you push one down, and they all start to fall down. That's what's going on. Cern is playing God. And this is the beginning. We don't know what's going to happen. Let's say they never ever experiment again. Let's say they shut down Cern down. Let's say they shut Cern down right this minute. Is this going to stop, or is it going to continue on still? Did they cause something that can't be reversed? That's going to continue on and grow and grow and grow? Is this the beginning of the destruction? Is this the beginning of some really weird stuff happening? You got to really think about this. You ever see the Twilight Zone, where the astronauts, they come back and then they don't remember 2 of their friends? One guy does, but the other 2 guys don't remember him. And then he disappears, and then the other guy disappears, and by day 3 they're all gone. They all vanished, and no one knows they're gone. They never existed. We can die from this. You can just like suddenly like get shifted and then just not even exist. What they're doing is demonic. I don't believe that will happen, because I believe in Jesus Christ is my God, my Savior. But there's other scenarios that could happen. We're not exempt from tragedies. Everyone is at risk. And these people are playing God, and people turn their heads and they don't care, and they're so busy with their movies and their porn and all their sin, and it's like, wow, I guess somebody was right when they told Elvis, don't be shaking your pelvis, right? They said he's shaking his pelvis, he's going to cause all kinds of stuff to happen in the future. They were saying that. And then after Elvis, what happened? The music got worse and worse and darker, and now look at, they're playing with dimensions. The ego. And people are like, oh, it's okay, you know? In the movies, it always comes out good. We walk away, we go home, we go into our house. This isn't going to be good, I'm telling you. We just don't know where this is going to take us. This might be something really bad coming up. We really just don't know. Gotta hang on to you to find out.